Today I went out at home to take a look at their Halloween lineup. And the lineup can be a little bit different from what you'd expect at Spirit Halloween because they have mostly animated Halloween decorations that are not animatronics. And there were very few that I did see. So I'm going to give you a tour of the decorations I saw. I counted a little more over 26. And let's jump straight in with this spooky house with a skull on it. I don't know where I'd put a house other than a haunted Halloween village in my Halloween display. But either way, this is nice and it looks really nicely done. Along with these scary houses, we have this tall one. Not as creepy as the one with the skull on it, but still looks really nicely sculpted. Next on the menu, we have a couple of ghosts. Sold for $5. Him and the ghosts and the pumpkin and the black thing next to it all are for both $5. Definitely nice little decorations. If you don't want to spend $20 on a lit up sculpted house, then you could always spend $5 on this little ghost that can sit on your... Oh, too bad. It looks like I already have all my filled up. The next item we have here is this pumpkin nutcracker. I never was a big fan of nutcrackers, but these ones sure do catch my eye. Nice little kid-friendly props, and something that I would expect to be sold at Target. Over here, we have this Tic Tac Ghost board. Looks like a nice game. For me, I would get bored immediately playing this, but it's a nice little prop. And next to it, we have the Countdown to Halloween. There's a lot of better alternatives, but if you're looking for a cheaper one, At Home has you covered. Next thing we have here is these ghosts with pumpkins. And after that, we have these pumpkins with weird smiling cartoon faces. I think these might be from something, but I don't know what. Either way, weird little kid-friendly pumpkins, and I guess if you don't want to carve your own, then At Home has some cartoony ones already set out. We have a bunch of props to talk about here, but let's go one by one. Starting on the top left, we have the skull. And right beside it on the right, we have these one-eyed mushrooms. Definitely look like a witch experiment. Something I wouldn't want to be growing in the yard. And right beside it, on its right, we have the scary turtle. I love snakes, but even though I'm not the biggest fan of turtles, I love this turtle. Going to the middle row, we have some more skulls, more fun decoration. And then going back to the bottom, we have some black skulls covered in mushrooms. Here we have some interesting mushrooms. They're not as creepy as the other ones, and I really can't like them. I do not like how they're smiling, but for any witch theme, this would go great. Next, we have these weird pumpkin creatures. Not too much of a big fan of it, but I do like the poses they're in. Not going to lie, I thought this was a mask, but no, it is for your ground. So if you want a little tree to be poking its face out of your ground, then At Home has you covered. Next few things I'm going to talk about is this super cool Jack Skellington mug. And actually, there's two nice little things to have for Halloween. While there is so many better choices, if you want a Halloween book for toddlers or kids, but At Home has their own version called Where's the Witch? What you just saw there was the animated pumpkin groundbreaker. Well, actually animated groundbreaker, but it's a pumpkin. As the first animated prop, and the only one out, this one isn't really that bad. For $50, you can get yourself an animated pumpkin groundbreaker. and looking like something that might be made by Jemmy or Sunstar. I do not think this is. It says over here, Grim Garden. By the way, there's a wheelbarrow that was in boxes. Here we have a nice skeleton groundbreaker. I can't tell where and who is selling this now, but I think all of them sell it. Like, Costco and At Home and a couple other places sell this. So it must be popular. Maybe this is a knockoff, or maybe it's smaller. But it wasn't set up, and I couldn't see very much from what the box said. And then the other, I think, animated prop, well, at least posable and lit up prop, is a skeleton. This is a posable skeleton, and it lights up. Remember, this is in boxes, and it was not set up. So I will be coming to At Home soon again to see what they have closer to the year. I almost forgot to add this in, but here we have this animated Reaper, or I think it was animated, but I can't remember. This probably would lazily sort of move up and down, and not something that I'm excited about, but they do have some pretty good 3-footers, and these ones are not the big At Home. And while Spirit definitely shines, it's always fun to take a look at what other companies are doing. And this one looks like it's probably lazily trying to copy off, I think, the Keeper or whatever. It was sold at Spirit Halloween for the 2024 season. And it would move up and down. And also it's getting a reskin this year. And maybe this is a reskin too. But I think it is more likely something trying to copy in its tracks. And I hope I covered everything. There was not very much set up in store, but what there was really pretty cool. So, if you get one thing from this video, it should be to remember to stay spooky.